Welcome everybody to Bedbug TV. I'm your host, Jeff White. And in today's episode I want to talk to everybody about traveling bedbug free. There are some very simple and easy things that you can do before, during, and after you travel to hopefully avoid bringing bedbugs home with you, because God forbid, obviously, that's the one thing we all want to avoid. And so what I want to talk to you about in this video is some things that you can do during those different parts of your trip, as well as talk to you about a few products that you could potentially use to help you reduce those chances of bringing bedbugs home with you. And so where I want to start is, of course, before you leave. Obviously, whenever you're traveling to a hotel, the risk is there, albeit minimal, but the risk is there that you could encounter bedbugs in your travels. And so if you were to bring them back, what are some things that you can do to hopefully prevent bedbugs from getting inside your home? When we get to the end of this video and we talk about the end of your trip, we'll talk about your actual suitcase and the things that you can do with your suitcase. But in regards to your home itself, there are a few things that you could potentially install that may help you somewhere down the road. One of which is right here, which is bed, mattress, and box spring encasements. What these do is they go around your mattress and box spring, and they will restrict bed bugs to the outside of those encasements. You want to make sure, if you are going to purchase an encasement, that you look to make sure it's been scientifically designed to prevent bed bugs from getting in and out of that encasement. But what it will do is it will protect your bedding and keep the bed bugs on the outside where you can see them very easily. Another thing that you can look to install potentially is an interception device. Now this is the blackout bedbug detector, which I myself designed, but there are other interception devices out there that you can go out and look at and evaluate yourselves. And what this is intended to do is go under the legs of a bed or couch, and as the bugs come to that bed, because of course if they come in on your suitcase and you put the suitcase down, they're going to walk off of that suitcase and go to the bed, which is where you're sleeping. Well, as they do that, as they walk up the outside, they will fall in these trap wells and then hopefully not be able to get out of them. And so it's a way to hopefully prevent bed bugs from infesting your bed and also make it much easier to detect them, God forbid you do bring them home. Another thing you want to do before you travel is put some sort of bags inside of your suitcase. One example we have here is a green clean dissolvable laundry bag. You can put your laundry in here, and so when you return home you just drop this in a wash cycle, preferably a hot wash cycle, and it will dissolve once it's in that wash cycle. Or you could just use simple garbage or Ziploc bags, which will also suffice for this purpose. And what you want to do is split your laundry into launderable piles, put them in those bags when you're ready to leave the hotel. That way you can just quickly transfer them to the washing machine, because a hot wash and a hot dry cycle will kill any and all bed bugs and their eggs associated with your laundry. Another thing you potentially want to think about packing is what I have here in my pocket, which is a flashlight. That will help you inspect the hotel room when you get there. And so those are some quick things you can do before you leave. Now, we just arrived in our hotel room, so here we are. And what are you going to do? Well, the first thing you want to think about is where are you going to put your suitcase while you do a quick inspection of that room. And so I have a suitcase over here, and you can see that this suitcase is away from the bed. Now, what I would actually do is probably leave it right by the door until I actually inspect the room itself. And during your trip, you can actually put it, maybe the best place is in the bathtub. It's a very slick, smooth surface that we don't typically find bed bugs. And so when you're not showering or whatever the case may be, you can store it right in that bathtub, which may be the best place to put it. And so you want to keep that suitcase away from the bed. And the first thing I typically do is go ahead and do a quick inspection of the room. Now, obviously it's going to be very difficult to actually stand the mattress up, stand the box spring up, and get to the bottom of that box spring where bed bugs truly hide. It takes a lot of physical labor that not everybody can do. And so what I usually recommend doing is just a quick basic inspection. And some of the places that I look is I pick the sheet up and I look at the underside of the box spring. And so I'll get down on one knee with my flashlight and look up underneath here. And I'll also look at all the ribbing and edges of the mattress and the box spring. Very easy places to inspect for bed bugs that they will very typically hide. Another area you want to inspect real quick is possibly the outside of the headboard. The headboard is another very common area that we find bed bugs, and so looking at the bottom of the headboard or around the sides, and you're looking for bed bugs, their spotting, which is their fecal material, or any other evidence they may leave behind. If you find anything, you obviously want to go to hotel management, let them know, and you can decide how you want to, handle that situation. Be aware that that inspection will not detect all bed bug infestations, and honestly, even if you rip this room completely apart, you may not necessarily find a very low-level bedbug infestation. And that's why we say it's always most important to know what to do with your belongings when you return home. So, let's get to that part. And so here we are in the hotel room. Some products you can consider real quick One of which is the Beep travel kit, which is a travel kit that has a bunch of different items inside it, such as a flashlight, a monitor that you can actually put up that actually releases carbon dioxide, and a bunch of other items that can help you detect bed bugs in your travels. A bug zip luggage protector, so if you want to take an additional precaution in regards to just putting your suitcase in an inconvenient area for bed bugs and you wanted to put it in something that will actually protect it, this luggage encasement, if you want to call it that, will actually protect the suitcase itself. And so those are two things that you can think about during your trip to use. And so we're here, we're staying, obviously we're watching for bugs, we're watching for bites, we're letting management know if we have any suspicions, we're ready to leave. We've got our suitcase with all the clothes. We're going to put those clothes into launderable piles, put them in those bags that we brought. That way we can quickly transfer them when we return home. And off we go. So we're now returning home. What do? So this is the most important part because remember, you could have had bed bugs in that room and not detected them. They're very difficult to detect. And so the first thing you can do, and maybe one of the simplest things you could do, is just do a quick inspection of your suitcase. Usually if you encounter bed bugs in a hotel room, they'll probably be on the suitcase itself. This is a hard-shelled suitcase, and so they don't typically like this hard-shelled area. But you're going to look for the fabric areas, such as where the zipper is, and if it's a fabric suitcase, you can actually look in the pleats and the folds and the cracks and the crevices. And so a quick inspection can really tell you a lot right there. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead, and there's two things that you can do with this luggage. Obviously, you've taken the clothes out and you're laundering the clothes. All of your toiletries and whatnot, we recommend you put them in a Ziploc bag in your travels, and when you're not using them, you just leave them in that Ziploc bag. They really shouldn't be infested if they're kept in the bathroom. The bathroom is not a common area we find bed bugs. You have your empty suitcase. Well, there's two really directions you can go with this. One is that you go ahead and put it in a bag, a garbage bag, and just leave it until you travel next time. Just be aware if you do that, any bed bugs that are on it may survive until your next trip. And so that's kind of, the suitcase can be the most difficult thing to deal with. Another option, which is a more advanced option, is what we have here, which is a thermal strike commodity heater, if you want to call it that. And what it is it's a heating unit that you can actually take your suitcase, drop it in, and then go ahead and follow the directions that come with a unit like this, and it will heat that suitcase up to a suitable temperature to kill bed bugs and their eggs. Obviously, one of the best options. It's all about whether or not you want to go that direction and afford that piece of equipment. And so you've dealt with the suitcase. You either bagged it, or you've heated it, or you've inspected it. And obviously, your concern with that suitcase is going to depend on whether or not you saw bugs or were bitten in your travels. If you didn't see any bugs and you weren't bitten, then maybe you didn't encounter bed bugs, and so maybe the risk is much lower. If you have concerns, obviously you want to take the next step. So you've dealt with the suitcase, you've dealt with your clothes, you've got hopefully your encasements in place on the bed to help you see bugs if they happen to go to it. You've got your interception devices to intercept any bed bugs, if you brought them home, and you're fairly protected at this point. And that's really what the point of this is to give you some good, quick, easy pointers in regards to preventing you from bringing bed bugs home, because that really is the trick. Remember that hotels can do very little to prevent bed bugs from being introduced into them. If somebody stayed in that room before you and had a bunch of bed bugs at home, it could be a very low-level infestation, and the hotel may not have even had the ability to know it at that point. And so you really want to be prepared for when you return home. What can you do? And that's what the intent of this video is. So if you have any questions, jeff.white@bedbugcentral.com. Be aware that there is a travel bedbug-free guide on our website that you can go and download for free that goes through all this stuff, and you can read and review and be prepared for when you travel. Hope to see everybody soon enough.